All of the food we eat and much of the clothing we wear comes from plants and animals that are raised on farms. Farms are different in type, in size, and even in name.
Welcome to Barn Talk. What happens at the barn stays in the barn, but not today. We're going to let it all out for you guys. Today is going to be a Q&A episode. You guys submitted your questions, and we're going to get them answered on the show today. So before we get into it, though, you guys know the drill. If you get any value from the show, share it out with the people that you know. The more that you guys do that, the more that this show grows, and we found that the best way to grow a podcast is through word of mouth. So whether we made you laugh, whether you're related to us on something, if you learned something, just share it. That's all that we ask. Another thing you can do to help us out here at Barn Talk is leave a review on Spotify or Apple. The more that you guys do that, the more it gives our show credibility. The more credible we are, the better more guests we can have on the show, and the more episodes we can make. And we also just love hearing from you guys. Overall, just your thoughts, what you think of the episode. We just love seeing what you guys think. So we appreciate every single one of you that do that. Last thing you can do to support us here on our family farm and support us here at Barn Talk is support our direct-to-consumer meat business, Farmer Grade. You can always use code Barn Talk to save 10% off your next order. And we are going to be running a Memorial Day sale. It's going to be one of the biggest sales of the entire year for us. We're going to have some pretty cool stuff happening on Farmer Grade, so be looking out for that. But how are you today?
I am bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Are we going to... I see we got some whiskey sitting on our little table here.
Our good friends from LWE brought us a bottle of Boondocks, and we're going to try that out.
Looks pretty appetizing.
It's got good color.
Yeah, it does.
I think that it'll be fine.
So what you're saying is people should probably stick around for the whole episode so they can see how good this is or not good it is.
I'd sample it at the beginning, but it might, I don't know, it might hurt the
might throw you off. Yeah, we haven't gotten the fields yet. Why not?
Too wet. We came very close. So David planted beans early this year, and we didn't plant any beans. We're planting all corn on corn this year. So he went and got his beans, and then he was going to come over and do some corn, and I told him that I wanted to get some brush cleaned out of the fence rows. So I told him to hold off. And so he started running his corn, and I think he's basically done. He might have like an 80 left, and the plan was to be here first of this week. We're shooting this on Thursday, and Sunday night we got like 2.5 to 3 inches of rain, and then cloudy, and it just hasn't dried out enough. I was out walking around yesterday, and there's plenty of places that you could go and you could get along fine. But all of the bottom ground and the hillsides and any draws still pretty wet. So I bet you we go this weekend. We didn't get a rain last night, and I would think by this afternoon, tomorrow morning, I think we'd be going. So should get.
The funny thing about that rain is that same night that it rained hard, we had 3 loads of pigs going out at my site, and got a call at like 2 a.m, and it's like, hey, our truck's stuck. We can't get it out, so we're going to need a tractor. And I was like, oh, gosh. Yep. But we got her done.
Yeah,
so.
It was pretty easy, too. We just had to hook onto the trailer and pull it backwards. He was just off the edge of the gravel. Could have been a lot worse. And
might need a little more gravel, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. It's pretty well built up.
It's pretty good. But that area doesn't get used very much, so the grass gets grown up, and it's hard for the truckers to see where the gravel ends and the grass, So he did the best he could, and you know what? We still didn't have to load the pigs.
Yeah.
We've given up a lot of the late night loads, which, let's be honest, that's most of the loads. So we have a crew that does that, and you can't put a price on a good night's sleep. Like, it's kind of been a game changer.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, when you get up and you load at 2 a.m, then you can't go back to sleep. And so then, you might as well stay up. So then that next day, you're kind of shot. You aren't your best.
Well, that night I literally I think I got 1 hour sleep, because once I got up, I could not go back to sleep.
Yep.
And I was laying in bed, and I was finally like, I'm just getting up.
So it's a big deal because when you do that, you pretty much, it screws you up for 2 days. So, which, I mean, we did it for a good number of years, but if I don't have to, I'm not going to load pigs. You know, I'll load 10 o'clock loads if it works, but
or hell, I do like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, but 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
In our system, we don't get very many loads that are early. But anyway,
I don't mind the loading part. It's the time of loads.
Yeah, I enjoy spending quality time with you. Yelling at each other and yelling at pigs and getting my blood pressure up. It's good cardio.
Good cardio raises the testosterone levels.
It does, for sure.
What's the markets look like?
The market update, courtesy of our good friends at Conterra Ag. Today, corn, the last I looked, it was actually down just a little bit. It's pretty flat, but May corn, 472. December corn, 454. Locally, corn, $4.60. Cedar Rapids, you can get $4.70 if you want to truck it up there. Beans for May, $10.44. And that's up a little bit. I think they were up 3 cents. November beans, $10.28. $10.33 at ADM in Burlington, or $10.53 across the river in Quincy. Bean meal, $298 a ton. Wheat for May, $5.27. Huh?
98 or 89?
289. Did I say 298?
He said 298.
I'm dyslexic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Maybe you need a little bit of this. It might enhance you a little bit.
I'm excited, and I'm trying to get through it.
Okay.
Well,
then I'll just shut up.
No, $289 a ton for bean meal. Wheat for May, $5.27. Hogs for May, $91. July hogs were $100. They're off a little bit, $99.55. And they're pretty good out there all the way till I think December hogs are back in the 70s, but a lot can change between now and then. April cattle, $212. Feeder cattle, $288. Crude oil, $62. Oil market's not too worried about the turmoil around the world. It doesn't do much. I'm really surprised at that.
Cattle don't either.
Huh?
Cattle don't either.
Yeah, cattle stay high and oil stays cheap.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It sucked to be in the meat business and have to buy
buy some beef cattle. Yeah, I feel bad for those guys.
The S&P 500 was up 12 points last time I checked, 53.87. Bitcoin, 93,000. I really thought the other day that I was going to be able to come back on here and say, I told you so, because that episode that I said, I think that we're making a base and Bitcoin's going to 100,000. It got to I think it got 95,000 maybe, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to feel pretty smart. It's dropped back a little bit, but I still do think that it's probably just kind of hang out, and I think it's going to run. I think the gold market will probably drag it. I think it's going to go over 100,000. Tesla, $253. Elon said he's going to step back from Doge and spend more time at Tesla, and apparently investors thought that was good because after their quarterly report, I figured it would drop a little more, but it was actually up yesterday. Gold, $3,341. If you got some of Granny's gold coins underneath your bed and you aren't worried about the future, I'd be cashing them babies in because gold is high. Silver's $30. 30-year treasuries, 4.7, 10 years at 4.3. All of this courtesy of our good friends at Conterra Ag. If you want to know more about what those guys do in ag financing, it's ConterraAg.com is how to reach them. And they're a good bunch. And the podcast that we had with Jake, great guy. So we really enjoy those folks.
Yeah, well, we got some good questions for today. I think we got a kind of well-versed selection.
Yeah, you're the closest. Between the two of us, you're closer to 15 years old than I am. So what are some skills that every 15-year-old should know?
Oh, that's
And I'm
tough.
not talking like one-liners, like pickup lines. I don't think that was his question.
Yeah, is it skills you need to know right now to help you where you are, or is it skills for your long term?
I think it's more of the long term.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know. I would definitely say that we're just in an interesting point in the world and in America right now. I mean, I don't care what age you are. I think right now AI is something that every person needs to be checking out and looking up on and studying and using, because it is going to be a part of our everyday life as we know it very, very soon. And if you're a young person and you can get into an industry that I think is going to be so successful and have so many opportunities, it's AI. Yep. I mean, it just is. I would tell anybody, I would tell any 15-year-old that, I'd tell any 20-year-old that, I'd tell any 25-year-old that, my age, you know, any 30-year-old, I'd tell that, because it's just, that is going to be so prevalent in our future. Yep. That I just think that's so important. And I know that that's kind of like high level future, I guess, skills. I think definitely know how to talk to people, look somebody in the eye, give them a firm handshake, know how to talk to people, because I think nowadays we're so connected, but we're also so isolated at the same time. And if you're a young person and you can walk into an interview or connect with people and go to an event or whatever, and you can have some moxie, you can have some charisma, you can talk, and you can make connections and provide value, and ask people great questions. That is a skill that not a lot of people have.
Yeah. I was going to say, with AI, voice is going to become so important. So work on your vocabulary, because like being able to articulate ideas is going to be important. And to your point, yes, to be able to look somebody in the eye and to have a little bit of confidence. And the best way you can do that
is practice.
So whether if you've got an FFA program, get in that, because doing that public speaking, and you know, those guys and the way they run their meetings, like they practice running meetings and speaking. It doesn't have to be that, but anything in your school, I feel like communication skill, that's going to be as important as anything you're going to learn from playing football or being in music. That's a skill.
That's so 100% I think that's a skill. And you got to use it in everything. I mean, everything of your everyday life. It's not a bad thing. No one has ever said it's a bad thing to learn how to communicate better. I mean, it's only going to serve you. It's only going to serve you. And I would also say, and this is kind of something from Naval, he was just recently on a podcast with Chris Williamson. If you don't know who that is, really great podcaster, has some amazing episode, amazing guest. But Naval, what's Naval's last name? I can never pronounce it right. It's like Naval Rapikin or something. Anyway,
pretty close.
He was like a tech guy, very successful in Silicon Valley. Now he's an investor, but he's almost become like a philosopher. Like he's very wise guy. And he just talked about how as we move further and further down AI, memorization is going to be less important, but understanding. If you can get your brain to understand stuff, like really, that's going to be important, because the people that can understand the whole memorization thing, and that's a flaw of our school system. I feel like a lot of people, they want to make the curriculum so that the kids learn it and understand it. But what really happens is most people just memorize so that they can pass the test, then move on, right? That's how it is. And you don't learn shit. Hell, I don't remember anything from chemistry or algebra 2 or whatever, you know, because you're just trying to pass. You're trying to memorize, pass the test, move on. Yep. And with AI, I mean, everyday questions, that thing can spit it out. And I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but it's just going to get better. And so if you can understand information better than most people, that is going to be huge.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty deep. I thought that was pretty good. I don't know. There was something else I was going to say, but can't quite remember.
What is kind of along those lines? And just one, if we could pick one, what is one skill that has helped you the most in your career, both on and off the farm?
What skill has helped you most in careers both and on and off the farm? I would say being able to do this. I think social media, I think thinking outside the box is the best thing you can do. And trying to having a growth mindset. I mean, that's when I was 18 years old, just out of high school, the best thing I ever did for myself was go down the rabbit hole of listening to people that open my mind up to what's possible. That completely changed my direction on life, my outlook on life, everything. And so that has helped us on the farm. That's also helped me on my personal journey. That's helped with Farmer Grade. You know, none of this would ever have came to my mind if I didn't know what was possible, if I didn't see and I didn't go out there and look and see what other people were doing or hear from people that were doing stuff. And I think you can say the same thing. I mean, the only way you're going to come up with better ideas and solutions that could help you is if you're going out and seeking that information or you're thinking deeply. But you got to go out and find information. Like, that's something that if you can get used to being a constant learner, dude, don't ever stop learning. Like, that skill will serve you for the rest of your life. And I try to do it every single day, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through reading. Try to learn, man. Try to learn, because you'll be like, I look back and every single day you might learn something new and you don't even realize that you're learning by just listening to a podcast or reading a couple pages of a book. But you look back and in 5 years, you're like, man, like, I'm a completely different person in the best way possible. You know, like, it's just a compounding effect of all this new stuff that you've taken in. But there's a caveat to that, or there's something that doesn't serve you on that. If you overconsume information, it can give you anxiety and stress you out and burn you out. So you can't learn it all in a day. You know, don't listen to 5 podcasts in a row in a day, because you gotta be able to take something from it and process and understand that information. So if all you're doing is self-growth, self-help masturbation, and all you're doing is just consuming that shit all the time, and you're not holding on to any of it, then you're probably overdoing it. So, but that being said, a healthy amount of self-growth and always seeking out to learn each day, that'll compound and take you places you never thought you'd go.
Yeah, I would say being willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations is probably a skill that will serve you very well. And I'll give you the best example. And it kind of has to do with what you said, but I guess I would just say that. So when my first job as a service tech in the hog building business, I'll never forget this. At the job interview, the guy that interviewed me asked me all the usual questions. And then he said to me, okay, I got this finisher out here, and I want you to set up the control. How do you do it? And I knew the question he was asking me, and I had no idea, because the controls that they used were totally different. They were a different brand than what I had cut my teeth on fixing. And so I looked at him and said, however you want me to do it. And that was the best answer, probably the best answer I ever gave, because the truth is he didn't know how to set them up. He was a salesman, but he thought that was a good answer. And when I started that job, I literally went out to a finisher that was very close to the warehouse and took the manual and just went through it and wrote down all the settings that were in it, and went through the manual and figured out how to get in there and do it, because I had no idea. I had no idea what any of the presets were. I didn't know what any of that was, and I figured it out. And the next day I was at a building that was brand new that was getting fired up, and I had to set the control, and I had that cheat sheet and I set it. And then the farmer showed up and he asked me, how this worked or how that worked. And I said to him, I'm like, you know what? I said, I don't have any idea, because this is the first one of these I've set since I started working here. But I said, I will stand here and you and I will figure it out together. Yeah. That's what we did. Yeah. And I had a very long career of troubleshooting these controls and doing it. And if I would have, it goes back to that, a really bad plan at a time of necessity is better than waiting till you have the best plan, because it ain't ever going to happen. It's like when you do something, even if you do it poorly, you're going to figure out what you did wrong, and you're going to know, at least you're going to know what not to do. Yeah. So
you're going to learn something rather than just sitting on your ass planning.
Exactly right.
I would say last thing that I would have said to that 15-year-old, it just came to my mind. And I say this all the time. Dude, figure out a system of how you can plan out your work and work your plan every day. I wish I would have done that when I was...
Oh, look at you!
Shit, I'm the one in the swear jar. I'm the one that got caught with the phone not being.
I don't think that's
today.
Ever happened.
That hasn't.
I'm
usually
always the one.
You're always the one that does it. Yep. I know. Now I gotta drink a little more of this. I guess punish me or whatever. But
work your.
Give me
plan.
some of that Peaky Blinders stuff. That's my punishment.
That'll.
Anyway. Yeah. If you, man, I wish I would have learned that way earlier. If you can just find a system, find a way in your life as early as possible to just set your day up for success for yourself, whether that's making time for yourself plus getting your plan done and working it. It just, you can't, I can attest to this. You can't keep it all in your head, man. Like you can't do it. Like I tried that for so long. And you realize once you start actually finding something that works for you when it comes to planning and writing, having lists and having notes, you realize how much shit probably got lost by you trying to keep it all in your head. I mean, I write down everything, notes, future dates, to-do lists, what I'm going to do that day. It just keeps you on track, man. And I just recommend to anybody, if I could go back, I wish I would have done that way sooner. Way sooner.
Well, this might be right. You may have already answered this in that. So how do you stay focused when it feels like you're being pulled in 10 different directions?
That's it. I write down everything. I had a phone call with somebody. They need me to do something. I don't wait to write it down. I write it down. And I have an app. I say it all the time. I use Things 3. It's called Things 3 on App Store. It's like an all-in-one calendar, to-do list, note-taking app, all in one. And anytime I get off a call and I got to do something after that call, I write down what I got to do. Anytime I'm scheduling something, I schedule it within that app. Anytime I want to brainstorm, I write it in that app. If I just everything I write down everything because it just keeps you on track. But the other thing I would say that I've had to get really good at is saying no. You got to say no to people, man. You cannot do it all. If you're trying to go after what you want in life and you have these goals and you've set these things that you know that you need to do and you do them, not everybody understands that. And you might have to say no to people. You can't go to every party. You can't go to everything. You just can't. There's not enough time in the day. So I would say saying no and focusing on the stuff that really matters, because in the long run, it's a season of life. Like I've heard Alex Hormozy say, like most people are unwilling to trade a period of time of their life to do things that most people won't trade a short period of their time to give up things that everybody wants to do right now so that they can ultimately get the thing that they want. You have to be willing to go through a season of your life going after what you want that isn't sexy, that most people find boring and most people don't find is appealing. It's the boring, unsexy shit that nobody wants to glamorize. If you do that for a season of life, you're going to get where you want to go. And it takes time. And so you have to say no. You can't say yes to everything. So I'm figuring that out. And that's hard because sometimes you feel like you let people down or you upset people. But if they know you and they know who you are and where you want to go, real friends and family will support that. They will lift you up and they won't make you feel like shit about it. You know, that's the truth. So my friends, the circle I have, if I can't make it to something, they don't take it personally. They know that it's not me being distant. It's not me saying I don't want to spend time with them. They just know I can't sometimes, and that's okay. So, goddamn.
That was really good.
Thanks.
I'm not good at that.
Yeah, Dad is a squirrel, kind of, a little bit. You are and you aren't. But
I've kind of adapted to that to the point that my life is like 10 different directions. I have so many unfinished things that I literally can go through my day and work on this and then go to the machine shed to get what I need for that, and then see the project that I had going there and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to work on that, and then go do something else, which I'm not saying that's good. It's kind of a luxury that I have now that I'm not working off farm, that I just kind of go from one thing to the next. However, I have gotten better. I am a list maker, and I do use calendar. I didn't used to use any of those things. So I have gotten a lot better, but I have more time in my day that I can kind of screw off that Sawyer doesn't have. Sawyer and Clay both have, they got a lot and they got to stay focused. I have a little more leisure that I can play around with it, but some days it is chaos. And the best thing I can tell you is,
But I would say you used to have to be that way.
oh no, I did 100%.
I feel like Dad has been in chaos. Like, that's just how you've always been busy. Like, you just are a busy bee. Like, that's all.
I pretty much ran 15 years, 20 years on just not really knowing what was going to happen next. So when I ran service, you didn't know what pay, like, so I'm so old that I had a pager, we didn't give out the number. You had a pager number, and then I would call you back. But I mean, you didn't have any idea where that next call was going to take you. I mean, I can remember going to Independence, Iowa, and then turning around, getting done there, and going to Bloomfield, Iowa, or Newton, or Wellman, or Sigourney, or you name it, wherever, Illinois. And you just didn't know. And, I was on call on the weekends, which was a good thing when the kids were little, because we were broke. So that overtime money was great. But, wake up on Saturday morning and, we're going to take the kids and we're going to go here. And then pager goes off, and it's, sometimes it was something that could wait, but sometimes it was a real emergency. And so that really got me into that, like, hyper, just, it was good in the fact that I could just multitask like a son of a bitch. And that really helped me when I got into sales. Part of the reason I think I was probably good at it was that I answered my phone all the time. Not good for my marriage, not good for my personal family time, but it was good for business because, I float from one thing to the next. But yeah, I've gotten a lot better. I'm a recovering busy bee, I guess you'd say. I'm much more focused now. But yeah, write it down. Use the tools that are out there. It's all you can do. And then sometimes there ain't a damn thing you can do. You just got to go. And in those situations, the best thing for me, I am not too proud. If I have one of those days, I will go to bed. I will go to bed at 8:30. I will go to bed at 8:30 and I will sleep like a baby till 5 a.m. or 5:30. That's the best thing for you. And it's like, I never used to be that way, but my personal well-being is worth it to where I'm like, I'm not going to watch that show tonight, or I'm not going to do book work. I'm going to go to bed. So.
Yeah. I would say, like, I feel like a lot of time I wake up and it's just kind of sometimes chaos, but you know what? It makes me feel a lot better each day if you can get up and have a little bit of time for yourself to...
I don't know.
Somebody's in our barn right now. All right, well, we're back. I don't know what the hell I was talking about, but we had a sheriff deputy just pull up to our barn. We heard somebody come in and say something. I thought he said, like, hey, fellas.
Yeah.
And then we stopped, and when Dad goes down there, and he's pulling out. And
he didn't see me, so he just pulled out onto the road and took off. So his lights weren't on, and there was no SWAT team, so I don't think that I've accosted anybody.
Well, anyway, it was really for nothing. We stopped for nothing, I guess, because we didn't end up getting anything out of that. But anyway, all I was saying was have time in the morning or find time in the day that if you could set your day up and not get into the chaos right away. I feel like I personally, I feel like that serves me better than just waking up and automatically just go.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I think we might as well, let's just stay on that because this next question, I didn't write down who sent this, but Microsoft 365 Copilot, the updated version came out like just a few days ago, and it's got like all the improvements were based on their AI using chat. So it's like a chatbot assistant for you. And I guess it's a big deal as far as it's a big improvement, but it brings up a talk. This person's question was, should executive assistants and secretaries be afraid?
Fuck
and I'm
yeah,
like, they should be afraid.
Yeah.
Because I think this is where you're going to see AI move the fastest, is this idea that, and if any of you out there have used this, drop it in the comment, because I don't use it, but like what that does is when you're at your desktop and say you're looking for a file, you know how today you can type in the search and you can't ever find it, like you can never find it. You can use voice and that AI will search for you. And so you can use a pretty refined search to find the file you're looking for. Or if you need to add a date to your calendar, you just say, hey, open calendar, block out 2:00 on whatever date, and it just does it. If you have some receipt or whatever, you can send that to Excel. If you can go back and forth between apps a lot faster because you just do it with your voice. And I think that's just going to get better and better and better to the point that it basically is going to be like, having another version of you there to take notes. Like if you're now whenever we're on a Zoom, it's being recorded anyway. You're taking notes. But
it's your Jarvis.
Yeah, it literally is headed to be your Jarvis. And so
for anybody that doesn't know, that's Tony Stark's Iron Man's.
It's his AI.
It's his AI.
It's in his suit.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest disruption. I think on the last episode we were talking to Jake, we were talking about, just software, how it's got, AI is making it so much more efficient, and it can combine calculations with, say, like if you're dealing in real estate, not only can it do the calculations, but then it can look at recent market sales of real estate to tell, is there a trend there of what it's doing, or, commodity prices, whatever. It can do a lot of research within the program that you're using it for. And I think the big gainer in all of this is probably, from a management standpoint, from somebody like you. If you're a one-man shop, the amount of leverage that you can create because of AI, in other words, the amount of work that you can get done without the need for employees, is crazy. Mm-hmm. But if you're that person that you're the person that did all that research, you're the person that went and got all those land prices and put them in a spreadsheet, or you're that executive assistant, I think those are going to be the first jobs to be upended.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Any data collection, any assistant role. Yeah. You're already seeing it's coming. It's only going to get better. So it is the necessary evil of it. I just saw a new commercial from an AI glassware company where this kid is on a date and he is sitting across this woman, and it's like it's giving the perspective that this guy lied on his like dating profile. And she's asking him, well, so you said you were 30, right? And he is like he didn't know if he said he was 30 or not. Yep. And he has these AI glasses looking at her, and it's just pulling up all this information in his glassware. And so he's just like saying all the right things, right, on the date. Yep. But I don't know. Like, I feel like that AI emerging with like your glasses to give you information about everything going on around you in your conversations, and it's listening to your guys' conversation. I don't like that.
Nope.
I don't like that at all. That's a little too close to comfort for me. That's like, I don't need AI listen. And then that also makes you think like, well, is this person that I'm talking to, are they wearing AI glasses? Are they going to analyze everything that we're talking about right now? Yeah. I think that's fucked up. That's too much that's too integrated for my liking.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like for your dating deal there. I mean, it's like meeting a girl and dating her, or going out on a date and then realizing that she's a psychiatrist. You know,
what's wrong with psychiatrists?
Nothing is wrong with them, but you know, you're kind of like, oh man, okay, you know.
Oh, she's analyzing you.
Yeah, she's analyzing everything. Only now, everybody is analyzing everything.
Yeah,
and I don't know. That's a really weird deal.
Yeah, I think that AI is here to stay, and constantly reading up on it. I probably haven't done a good enough job. I know I use it often, but if you can try to see what's coming, you won't get displaced. Mm-hmm. Or you can have it plan at least to, if you are going to get displaced, what you can do, I guess, you know? So you just don't want to get smacked by the train and not know it's coming, I guess.
Yeah.
So keeping up to date on it all, I think, is important. Yeah, Last of Us. You asked about The Last of Us.
Yeah.
If any of you watch The Last of Us, it's the show on HBO Max based off a video game. Some of you might have played the video game, but the show is pretty damn good.
It is good. If you played the games, and that was wasn't that a Sony exclusive?
PlayStation only.
So we were Xbox people, so we never played them. You're just like, wow. Like, yeah. I wasn't ready for that. You have a pretty good inclination that the main character's days are numbered, you know? Yeah. I mean, you've kind of known that all the way through.
If you've never watched it or you want to watch it, skip ahead because we might spoil it for you.
Yeah, I'll try not to spoil too much. But yeah, just the way it happens and the rate that it happens with everything else that's going on at the same time.
This last episode is what we're talking about. Everybody's talking about it because it was like totally unexpected.
Yeah.
It was a good episode, and Kat was like, we were watching it in bed when the moment happens in the episode that everybody's just shocked about. It's like she literally rose out of bed with her hands on her mouth, like, oh my god! She just stayed there for like 10 seconds.
Yep.
She was just godsmacked. Yeah. She's like, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
I think a lot of people were,
and I was like, well, I will tell you the most unexpected twist in TV history. That's up there, but Game of Thrones Red Wedding, if you've ever watched Game of Thrones and you watch the Red Wedding episode, that is the most, you do not see it coming whatsoever, and it is like the most gruesome. I don't even want to watch, I never want to watch it again because it's like such a mind fuck. It's like out of nowhere, and just the sheer shock of it is just crazy. Yeah. And I was like, Kat, Red Wedding. She's like, I don't remember what happened. I'm like, how do you not remember?
She fell asleep.
How do you not remember that? It is like the most disturbing. It's not disturbing, but it's just, it sits with you and it doesn't sit right. So that definitely tops it for me. But anyway, yeah, if you haven't watched Last of Us, I highly recommend. Highly recommend.
The other show that I'll recommend that you watch, and you haven't watched this yet, is called Mobland. And it's on Prime, I think. And Tom Hardy's in it. And oh my gosh, it's his character he has a similar demeanor as to the one that he played in Peaky Blinders, but oh man, is he good? It is so good. So anyway,
he was good in Peaky Blinders too.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah. I mean, he's just a good actor on general.
He is a good actor. So, yeah, that was your culture. That was your culture for the day. Lucas asked, if you had to start over, what would you do?
Oh, fuck.
If I dropped you off in a small town somewhere or any city with $100 in your pocket,
I wouldn't get into farming, probably.
Nope, probably not.
No chance.
Nope.
I would probably start, if I had to start over right now, I would either look into AI, I would try to get into some sort of media, because that's what I know. I know media, I know how to make videos, I know how to make content, I understand that world a lot. So I'd probably get into that and maybe try to study AI and figure out if there's opportunities in that industry. And that's what I would be focused on is that to make a living. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you have to go if you got to go get a job right away to just pay the bills, that's what you do. But I would, like, if I had no opportunity to farm, that's probably what I would do is get into media, maybe work a job, start my own business, look into AI, and then just invest your money smart. Invest in the stock market, S&P 500, index funds, maybe buy some real estate and just grow that way. And that's way easier said than done, but that's what I would do. And maybe he's asking what would we do he asked about, it sounds like he's like referring to farming. I'm assuming he's probably like, what would you do if you had to start again? Start over? I don't think there's any money in hogs to start right now.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Unless you're going to, I mean, there's so much. If you're going to start farming as a first-generation farmer and you don't have a lot of money,
then you're not going to start farming.
It's really hard, dude. It's really, really hard. But, I guess if you're going to start as a first-generation farmer and try to farm the conventional way of raising cattle on a feedlot or raising pigs in a hog barn or on a lot, or you're going to raise corn and soybeans, you're going to grow those crops, dude, it's too hard. So I would say you have to find a way to maybe go the regenerative route, start direct to consumer, ag tourism. That's the only way.
I will say this though, probably the best way is get a plat book and go down the road of what people are out there that still own a farm, and if they're of the right age, I'd go door to door, because there are so many farmers out there that have no errors, that have no plan as to what they're going to do when they quit farming, and those guys would love. There is a lot of them that would love to see somebody take over that farm. They just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So that would be a great possibility. I mean, if you got nothing to lose, if you're like starting from scratch, you got nothing to lose, I probably would do that, because...
But you just got to be clear with them, though. I mean, the communications... You got to communicate with them with the understanding of, like...
I'm not going to do this for 8 years and have no ownership and be working for minimum wage.
Exactly. Or you're going to get paid very well as a farmhand, that you can sustain your family and you can farm because that's what you love to do. Yeah. It's got to be, you got to have, I mean, you probably don't want to open up and swing with that right away. You got to prove yourself a little bit, but that's something that, man, I don't think, talking to farmers, it's just like, the communication between family farms within the family, or just farmers to people, it's just like, man, we got to communicate more.
Yeah, for sure.
You do.
For sure.
You got to air it out, and you got to have those hard conversations.
Hog futures hit over $100. Is there any hope for higher contract finishing rates? And I would say more hope than there's been for quite a while, but I don't know whether that's going to... I mean, it's just like, that's not a marketing plan. Well, that's not a contract plan either for hogs. I know that there's integrators out there that are looking for space, and they can't get spaces, and they sure can't get anybody to build for them. The amount of building going on is very, very small. So there is an incentive there. There is demand for space, and there is an incentive for them to try to make it attractive to people. I just don't know whether any of these integrators have healed themselves well enough that they're ready to go out there and give up any of that profit that they are making to pay a higher contract. Because once you do that, you've kind of opened Pandora's box, because anybody that has a contract that is close to being up is going to be calling, and it's going to spread like wildfire. But it needs to happen. I mean, it 100% needs to happen. My oldest barn's 15 years old. My insurance on my buildings have doubled, probably more than doubled. My power bill has more than doubled. You name it, pretty much everything in there. LP hasn't. LP's stayed half. Well, it's probably doubled too. I bet you it was probably 40 or 50 cents when I started. And so everything's gone up, and what you're getting paid has stayed the same. So it's not good. So it definitely needs to happen. It's just the pot of money that's out there as far as what's being made on the finishing side and on the pigs. They're kind of in the same boat. Some of these companies have a lot better marketing department or a hedging department, and some of them have ownership in, the packing side, and that gives them an edge. So some of them are better heeled to where they could afford to do that, but I don't know if you're going to see it or not. I think it's
something's got to change.
Something's got to change.
Yep.
What holds us back from doing what we know we need to do?
Being a pussy.
Yes.
Being a little bitch.
Yes.
David Goggins.
I was listening to Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan. He's got to be like the winner. He's probably been on Rogan. Oh, there's probably some comedians that have been on there more than he has, but he's been on there a lot. But he just talked about like how your mind will betray you. And you said this. You talked about how we were talking about that clip about smoking, and you said how, I got a hard decision to make. Nope, just going to scroll on my phone.
Yeah.
And he talked about that your mind likes it easy, likes it simple, likes it the same. Doesn't like change, doesn't like stress, doesn't like uncomfortable situations. And if given the out, it will take you to the easiest way. And that is addiction, that is disconnection, that is, just status quo.
Well, yeah, your brain is wired to do what is easy or what feels good. I mean, your brain is wired to survive. So when all you do is feed it dopamine all the time because you doom scroll, you're training your mind to always want dopamine, and the thing that produces that is most likely your phone. And so when you get up and you look at your phone right when you wake up in the morning and you doom scroll for 2 hours, and that's the first thing you do, I mean, it just makes it a challenge. The distraction. I think what holds people back from doing what they need to do is the distractions are unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's so many distractions nowadays, and your brain is hardwired to work against you. Like you said, in hunter and gatherer times, you wanted to do what was safe.
Yep.
You didn't want to seek out self-preservation was the most important thing. And so you just did what you had to do, but you were doing what was safe. You were doing what was easy. You did what was comfortable because you needed to survive. Now, not everybody was like that. If you had to go kill a fucking elk, you had to go find an elk and kill it and eat it. But other than that, you were chilling because you were trying to stay alive.
If given the choice or the opportunity, you would rather find an elk that ran off a cliff and died and you found it. Or if you could get the herd elk to run off a cliff versus you having to try to throw a spear or take a whatever blunt force object and beat the piss out of something. I mean, that's how you are. We naturally try to find the safest way of doing anything.
Yeah, and but you can work. I mean, it's obviously proven you can shut that shut that voice down in your head and do what is uncomfortable. And most of the time, we all know if you do what is uncomfortable, you become disciplined. You know that that's the thing you need to do, and you do it. It end up making you feel a lot better. I don't know about you, but when you sit, you doom scroll, and you don't end up doing the things that you know you need to do, you feel like shit as a human being. You just do. You know you do. You feel like shit. So I think people just got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And like for me, I get in slumps like that, man. Like I just made it this month. I was like, I am spending way too much time on my phone. I hate that I spend so much time on my phone. And I got to spend time on my phone because I do a lot of work on my phone. But like, why do I have to get on social media past 5 o'clock? There's no reason for me to be on my phone past 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. When the work is done, why am I on my phone? And it's like, I watched a really good video about this guy that's like, if you don't use he's like completely cut out his phone. His screen time is 30 minutes a day. He's deleted all social media apps, which we can't do.
Yep.
But he's deleted all social media apps. He sets his phone down in a place every single day. He doesn't take it with him every single place that he goes. And he's just like, I'm just way happier. I'm getting a lot more. I'm freeing up like so much more time to do shit that I know I need to do and that I want to do. It's just this thing in our pocket. I don't think people realize how detrimental it can be. And they don't even realize it. If you're not awoken to the fact, it's like, God, man, like I get home after a long day of work and instead of like going and doing shit in the garage, I'm getting on my phone or I'm just watching TV. I'm escaping. I'm doing what's comfortable and what my brain is desiring. And you got to like break that. You totally got to break that. And so yeah, everybody struggles with it, but you got to get to a point where you're like, I got to a point where it's like, I am going to figure out a way that I can stop using my phone as much. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. And something I'll add to that is, when we talk about doing what we know we need to do, when we were talking about how I'm kind of a squirrel and not very good, like I start all these projects, that's detrimental to your mental state, because one way that you can really help yourself to do what you know you need to do is accomplish something every day. That's like you've heard the Navy guy or whatever that gave that speech about getting up and making your bed.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do anything else the rest of the day, you made your bed. For me, it's like, it's so easy for me to do something and then be like, okay, I'm going to go do over here. I was dragging mats out of the hog building, the mats that we put in there for when the pigs are little, and the pigs are way bigger than what they should be for me to be getting them out. And, that's one of those jobs. It's really easy when you're taking them out the door. When you start, the first 4 pens are 30 feet from the door. You just take a few steps and you're in a pen, and a few steps and the mat's out. When you get to the middle of the building, it's 200 feet from the door to drag that mat. So as you work your way down, and some would say, oh, you should start in the middle. And I've done that too. But I got to where I had probably 8 mats left to get out of there. And I would not have had to have finished that job, because the only person that is accountable to getting those out is me. And I could have quit, and I thought about quit. I was literally talking to myself about what I needed to get done at a certain time, that I should probably just quit to make sure that I have all that done. But I didn't do that. I actually finished it, which, I do actually finish things once in a while. Okay, so the rest of the day, like I found myself at 7 o'clock that night, we'd got done eating supper, and I was sitting in my chair. I think we were actually getting ready to watch Last of Us. I don't know. I couldn't have told you what I did or what emails I sent or what else I did the rest of the day, but I was pretty damn happy with myself that I drug all those mats out. Mm-hmm. That was my sense of accomplishment. And so then you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, I'm looking at my list, and my list is very long because there's all this crap on there because I'm not really good at finishing stuff. But I was looking at this list the next morning, and I was thinking about that I'd got all those mats out. And I was like, how many other things on here are like 30 minutes of my time would finish this task? 40 minutes would finish this task. And I was like, I'm going to get this and this and this. You start doing that and your brain will get on a roll to where instead of like looking at it as to how can I get out of this, the satisfaction of getting it done, you can also trick your brain the other way to where it's like, okay, I want to get some shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get off that pretty easy too. So that's where we talk about, it's like consistency. But yeah, I mean, just get it done.
I think that's good. Yeah, the feeling of accomplishment is addicting, but it's not as addicting as your phone is. So you got to override it. Like you got to, I feel like people can. There's no amount of I feel like dopamine. I feel like you gotta get off the dopamine train.
Yep.
You gotta train your mind to stop being so dopamine dependent.
Yep.
Because you'll never go through the suck of getting those mats out if all you care about is you're just instantly gonna give in. Yeah. You're gonna give in to that thought. If all you do is train your mind to be like, when I want my phone, I'm gonna get on my phone. When I want to look at this, I'm gonna look at this. And you find yourself scrolling for 2 hours. And this is just one example. It could be anything.
Yeah,
you're training your mind to be soft.
And it'll go right there because, okay, as I'm dragging these mats, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm dragging these mats. And somebody texts me. So I stop and I read that text. And without me even thinking about it, I turn around and I start walking back out the door of the building with no mat in my hand, reading this text, and then when that's done, I just scroll up, and I'm looking at social media, and I get to the door, and my truck was parked out there, and I know that I was headed to either the bed of the truck or the cab of the truck and sit down. I could have easily blown through 20 minutes of just, and then be like, oh, I should read this email. Oh, I should respond to this person. Oh, what's this? What's on TikTok? And I stopped and I was like, I wasn't even thinking. I'm like, where in the hell are you going? So I put my phone back in my pocket, restarted the podcast, and walked back and got another mat.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how, and we're all that way. And the more you do that for dopamine, the easier, like you don't even realize what you're doing.
And they've literally programmed the phones and the apps to make you that way. Yeah. I mean, it's intentional. It's done on purpose. They want you to spend time on that phone and on the social media. And I'm not saying cut it out completely, but dude, if you're not even like, you got to just be intentional with it. Think about it, because there's so many people that don't even think about how detrimental that it actually is. Like it's a problem.
So when we launch that farmer grade app, just know it's going to be awesome, but we're going to put a timer on it. If you haven't ordered your meat within so many minutes, it's going to kick you off.
Your ass off there.
It's going to kick you off, and you can't get back on because we're doing that for you.
We care. Yeah, we're not launching an app, by the way. I mean, I don't think anyway, unless it makes sense, I guess, long term. But I don't have any plans of an app. So. Man. Well, I don't know. You feel like we've got a lot of shit?
I'll tell all of you that we kind of were really on a kick there. And then we've got some questions, but they're political. They're about China, India. They're about the World Bank, about Bill Gates and all of his stuff. And I just don't feel like killing the mood, I guess. We're on such a good vein of, like, trying to get some stuff done that I think we'll just forgo all of the hot topic questions for today. And maybe what we should do is we should do a whiskey minute.
Let's do a whiskey minute.
All right.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, get that. You got to unwrap that thing.
Boondocks.
So this is a bottle of Boondocks, and I'd never heard of it. And I got to thank Travis Hills and Torsten Linus. They're the founders of Livestock, Water, and Energy, and we shot a podcast with them that'll come out this week. And they brought us a bottle of Boondocks, and it's 18-year bourbon from Kentucky. and it's got a really good seal on it.
Yeah,
that Sawyer can't quite overcome.
My fine motor skills were never very good.
So we're eager to try it because I hadn't heard of it. So they actually brought us 3 bottles out of the kindness of their heart, and this is the first one that I picked to get it.
Fucking twist.
You need help or
nope?
Just put the camera on Sawyer and
listen to this shit.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Some ASMR for your.
Okay, pour a short. How's it
smells
smell?
really good.
Pour a short to cleanse our palates because people told us that you got to cleanse your palate before you. I mean, I guess you can pour a little more and just take one. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's got really good color. I'll tell you that. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, wow, that's pretty. Smell it. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It smells like, it's kind of like a Four Roses kind of. Well, I can tell you right now that I'm going to tell you right now that I like
good.
it.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, you know how you get these people that do these ratings?
That almost tastes like I almost get like a root beer float kind of.
Look at that.
Don't you did you feel like that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, so many of these guys that do these tests are like, oh, I'm getting notes of caramel and this and that. And a lot of times I don't, but yeah.
That gives me root beer float vibes.
Yeah, so this is my second. This is my second.
I already did my second, and I think that is delicious. That's good. I would drink that on the rocks all day long.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I kind of did. I think that's the first whiskey I've ever tasted that I got like it kind of has like a little root beer. It's very sweet to smell it, and it's not a lot of flavor on the front, but on the backside, it's like really.
But it's not like I don't want anybody to get turned off by us saying root beer. It's not. It's like not. It ain't as sweet as root beer, but it just has that hint of root beer flavor,
Which I'm assuming, I don't know what that bottle costs. I don't have any idea, but it's 18-year-old stuff. They probably try to say, like, we can't even get that in Iowa. I've never seen it anywhere. So if you're going to buy it off the secondary market, it's probably not cheap. So it should have pretty good.
Yeah,
flavor,
what would you rate it?
I would rate it.
That's one of the best whiskey.
I mean, that's
the best bourbon we've had.
You don't want to. I feel like it's Dave Portnoy's pizza reviews.
Is this from Kentucky? Did you say it was?
Says Kentucky.
Is it bourbon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a high. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody that does reviews nowadays, it's like they don't ever want to give you a flat number. No one wants to say it's a 10 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10. It's an 8.4.
I would
say it's a 7.6.
To me, it's probably a 9 because the chances of me getting something that's like, I mean, I don't know what a 10 is. When you get a 10, do you go, oh, it's a 10? Because maybe you find something better. But it's one of the better bottles that we've ever had on here.
Yeah,
so
I would say 9.95.
If you find a bottle of that, and it's not, stupid expensive, I'd get it.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend.
Unless you got buku $, then just knock yourself out and get a bottle no matter what.
Buy us one too and send it to us because we'll have another one of those. I love that. That is, I feel like trying to making a cocktail with this would almost be a sin.
That is right. And we don't get very many bottles that I probably wouldn't mix, but I would totally sip that.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to mix
Boondocks,
that.
18-year. I don't know who is it. Well, it says bottled by Boondock Spirit, Bardstown, Kentucky. So there you go, distilled in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's some good shit, fellas and ladies, if you're listening or watching. Yeah, I would recommend anyone getting a bottle of that. But like we said, we don't know what the price point is. So
No, we don't.
But
I like it when I don't know the price point.
Yeah.
So feel free to help me out. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So feel free to send some bottles. Yeah, anyway. But I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. I mean, I got all my words out. You?
I did. I feel
right.
good.
Feel good, too.
Little,
feel warm
little
now?
Confusion.
Yeah.
I was a little afraid that my name had shown up on the poster at the post office or on the back of bottle of milk, but apparently
it's because they finally are getting you for all that shit you did in high school.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is gone on all that.
All right, well,
So I figured they were probably here for your search history.
I'm clean as a whistle. I'm clean as a whistle. All mine is just farmer grade.
Meat.
Yep, meat.
A lot of meat.
No, not the meat you're thinking. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. We appreciate the hell out of all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. If you got any value, please share it with anybody that you know. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple. We haven't had an Apple review in like a couple months. So, hey, if you're listening on Apple, leave us a review and tell us what you think. We want to hear from you guys. So we appreciate it. Use code BarnTalk to save 10% and be looking out for a Memorial Day sale that's coming up here soon. We'll see you back here next week for another episode.